Eliot Shorr-Parks, sponsored by Cozy Jewelers. Step up to the
ESP.
fifth C, that's color. Cut, clarity, carrot, and Cozy. Elliot, are you ready for Red October?
I mean, it's pumpkin spice season, it's football season, it's playoff season. It's just, it's a good time right now to be in Philadelphia.
It's the best time of the year. I mean, weather and the sports, it is a great time. We got a lot going on.
Other than Christmas, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Christmas is wonderful. But I know, well, you're a Grinch. I mean, we've established that. How do you not like Christmas?
Money grab.
You just don't want to spend money.
It's money grab.
Yeah, well, all right. So most of us like it, but I get it. All right, Elliot. Before we get to all the stuff going on here with the Phils, let's get to a lot of Eagles with you here. Quite a week, Elliot. They win again, and everyone is frustrated because the receiver had a big tweet after the game and then didn't talk. Elliot, when you watch the game, and you always do your rewatch, what did you notice this week in the past game? Because it was so good in the first half. Second half, zero completions, and obviously AJ not thrilled when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I thought the first half was some of the best football I've ever seen Jalen Hurts play. I thought just from the minute that game started, rewatching it, like he was locked in at a level I don't think we've seen since the Super Bowl. Like he was elite versus the blitz. His accuracy was amazing. His decision-making was great. And I think he's almost become underrated as a runner. Like we talk so much about the passing game. I think what he does with his legs kind of gets undersold. But then the second half, he was awful. Like, I thought his accuracy was really bad. Now, just like in the first half, it's not all him. In the second half, it wasn't all him either. I thought the protection wasn't great. I think their running backs have really struggled in pass protection this year. But his accuracy wasn't good. I mean, we're going to talk about the AJ thing, but if he throws accurate passes to AJ down the sideline, we're not talking about an AJ thing because AJ probably has 80 yards and, maybe he feels differently. So I thought, surprisingly, Jalen's accuracy wasn't good in the second half, and I say surprisingly because he's generally, and almost always, I should say, a very accurate quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with you on his running, by the way. By the end of the season, he's probably going to move to top 8 or so all-time in rushing yards by a quarterback. We know the tush push and the touchdowns, but he's an impactful runner, and it was a big part. So I agree with you. I thought he played great in the first half. Second half, not so great. Elliot, your thoughts on the AJ situation as it is, because it feels like we do this every few weeks, and then it calms down, and then it comes back. Where do you think we're at right now with the A.J. Brown situation, short and long term? Yeah.
So I think what's so surprising and different about this one is it's self-inflicted. Like I think in the past when we've had A.J. Brown stories, the team and A.J. could realistically say to themselves, well, this is just the media blowing it out of proportion, whether it's a quote he had that maybe, they feel the media didn't take well, or when he was reading the book on the sideline, like things like that. I think internally they can look at and go, all right, well, this is not AJ. I think this time it is very clearly a self-inflicted wound, right? Like the call is coming from inside the house. Like AJ did this on his own. So I think AJ obviously is frustrated. I understand why he is frustrated. I don't think AJ worked out all offseason and talked about wanting to be the best receiver in the NFL so that he could get 7 yards in a game and have one of the worst starts to his career. So I understand his frustration, but the fact that it was kind of him creating it this time, I think adds a different level to the drama.
Elliot, story this morning, Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler at ESPN about people in the league speculating on what the future here could be with the Eagles and A.J. Brown. And they talk about the potential for a trade in the offseason, but also the reality of one that if the Eagles designated him as a June 1st trade, they could trade him within the season. Elliot, what's your thought on how this thing moves forward? Do you think he's on the team next year, and do you think there is any chance that he's traded in the season?
So I can't say there's no chance he's traded in the season because when I walked down to the Tampa Bay locker room, or the Eagles locker room in Tampa Bay this past week, I didn't see this coming, right? So this could take different twists and turns over the next few weeks that does lead to a situation that is maybe so ugly that they move on from him. Now, do I think it'll happen? Of course not. I would put the chances that A.J. Brown is on the Eagles past the trade deadline at 95%, right? I think there is a very, very, very small chance that he's traded. Now, for next season, that's a more complicated question because the first question is, does AJ want to be here? And I'm sure he'll get asked that later today when he talks, and depending how the rest of the season goes, he'll probably get asked that a few more times as the season's gone on. So that's the first question. But I think the other part of this truly is what do the Eagles think of AJ physically at this point? There's been a lot of talk about, is he the same guy physically? Is he not? And we can all guess and speculate and watch and like just kind of say what we say. They'll have the best read on it of anybody. So if at the end of the season, or frankly, even in the next few weeks, if they feel AJ is maybe diminishing physically, and that would be their thing, I don't know if he is or not, then you wonder if they're better off, if they would decide they're better off selling high than they are waiting until it's maybe more apparent.
I'm kind of curious, Eliot. Do you think that AJ today should say something to the media? And if he does, what do you think that should be along the lines of?
So it's a tough one. Like, obviously, as a media member, I hope he talks today. As somebody that follows the team and just wants to know what he thinks, I really hope he talks today. If I'm AJ, like, that idea of talking after the Denver game sounds pretty tempting. Like, he has to talk during the week, but, you know, a lot of times players don't. If he cannot talk until after Denver and he has a good game, the line of questioning is just so different, right? It's one or two questions about this, and then it's, but hey, you had a good game today, right? Like, he can probably even laugh it off. Like, there's probably no laughing it off today. So in the past where there's been these type of incidents or drama, he has talked. He's talked like right away. Like, I remember after the whole BG thing, I'm pretty sure AJ was at his locker when the locker room opened. So like, he's talked in the past, and I would guess he probably would. But man, like, if I was AJ, that post-Denver press conference probably is a lot nicer than what it's going to be today.
Eliot Shorr-Parks with us here. Eliot, watching the first four games, how would you, if there's like a pie chart here, like how would you divvy up the reason why AJ has not gotten going outside of one half against the Rams? I mean, I guess there's probably three or so potential options. Number one would be Kevin Patullo and the passing game and just the way it is designed. They're not getting him open enough. Two would be maybe AJ's a little bit diminished or still banged up from the summer, and he's just not physically as good as he's normally. And the third one would be Jalen, that he's just not letting it rip and throwing it and getting him the ball at the time he needs to. If you had to kind of assess those three options, what would you say? How would you divvy it up based on why he's not performing like normal?
So if I had to only pick from those three, like, I would add a fourth in there of the offensive line.
Okay.
And I actually have a question for you in a minute. But for the first three, like, of a pie chart, I would go maybe 10% coaching, 10% AJ, and then 80% Jalen. Like, it's just so simple. And I know that, you know, sometimes it sounds like I'm oversimplifying it, but I'm really not. Like, Jalen decides where the ball goes. Jalen decides pre-snap what play is run. And Jalen decides if he wants to throw the ball to AJ. And I'm not saying he should force it into him. Like, maybe AJ's not open, right? But I just think, in my opinion, when I watch the game, there are chances for AJ to be throwing the ball where he is not, right? Like, when now, could it be a slightly risky throw? Like, maybe. But if you have AJ down the sideline, like, you got to throw it to him. And on Sunday, Jalen did throw it to him. The passes just weren't accurate. So much like when last year they won the Super Bowl, and I said on this station all offseason that Jalen was the reason why, and he was the most important reason, like, it's only right then when the offense is struggling and the number one player is not getting the ball that Jalen holds that criticism too.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think if you want to throw the offensive line in, maybe we split Jalen on the offensive line, so that's like 40-40. And I think that's probably a fair way to do it. What did you want to ask us?
So I was thinking about this morning, right? Why is it that when the skill players struggle, whether it's Jalen, the running back, the wide receivers, we all always go right to Kevin Patullo? But when the offensive line struggles, we never talk about Jeff Stoutland. And I'm not blaming Jeff Stoutland. He's a Hall of Fame coach. But the point I'm making is, why? Like, it's the players. It is the players. So I'm curious why you think Patullo and Nick Sirianni, I'll throw him in there, get questioned when the players on the offense don't perform well. But when the offensive line doesn't perform well, we just never bring up Stoutland.
Because it's the offensive coordinator is the guy that you is supposed to be like the evil genius. And the offensive players, the offensive linemen are kind of like the cogs in the wheel.
But did we think Kellen Moore was a genius? Or did Jalen play better?
Well,
and Saquon and the offense.
I'm answering the question that he's asking. But do we think? I didn't think he was a genius. I didn't think. Yeah. I thought it was the schematically. I thought everything that was happening with the offense last year
was the players
was schematically.
So you
like
did
the scheme.
Yeah. So that's more though. That's Kellen
Moore.
No.
That's what I'm saying. As a fan, that's more. That's more on him because he's the more of the person that's out in the forefront. Right. You know, Stoutland gets love because of, you know, his work with Jason Kelce, not just him, but the whole offensive line and what he's been able to do. Like, he gets the credit for putting players in position to be prepared. Now, the offensive coordinator, in my guesstimation, is the guy that actually cooks the meal and orchestrates how it's put together. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's what it is.
So I guess I would just say, like, Jeff Stoutland's the run game coordinator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Stoutland, and I'm not even, again, not trying to rip Jeff Stoutland. I'm more just pointing out, like, we can't pick and choose when it's the coaching and when it's not. Like, offensive – well, yeah, good point.
We can. We do that every day.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I just think, like, the players on the field aren't performing well. They continually are telling us that. Every time any player talks, they tell us it's execution. But, like, I never hear anyone question other position coaches. And then, like, Kevin Patullo gets ripped. It just, I don't know. Like, to me, it's the players. Full stop.
Eliot, I agree. I also think there's a protection here of Jalen Hurts. I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there who spend all offseason. I'm not talking about you, because I think you just react week to week with all of us. But I think there's a lot of people in the fan base that just decided this offseason he is now an elite top 5 quarterback. And when he doesn't perform like one, someone else has to be to blame. It can't be maybe that wasn't true, and we went too far with that, so we got to blame the new guy. That's Patullo.
And I agree. I also, though, like, just to be honest, do understand it from the fans' perspective a little bit. Like, this guy won a Super Bowl for the fan base. He has been an awesome quarterback. They win all the time. And I think, like, naturally, fans decide to protect their own because nationally, he's been under, like, we could, not to do the debate we did all offseason, but the perception is he has been not given the credit nationally that he should. So I think that because of that, when Jalen criticism comes up, fans jump more to be protective of him because, again, it's like protecting one of their own.
Yeah, exactly that. It's definitely that.
It's a lot of that. Eliot, quickly before we say goodbye, and we'll talk to you on Sunday for the pregame show, your thoughts on the Phillies as they enter Red October, expectations, and I think we're expecting the Dodgers here on Saturday. You're feeling on a potential Phillies-Dodgers series.
It's funny. The opinions I have about the Phillies are about two different teams. So the first one I have is I can't help but view them as the Sixers right now. Like, I hope they have a deep run. I love Red October, and maybe they will. But, like, they have just come up so small recently after great regular seasons. It's hard for me to feel differently. So that would be my first one. But my second one is I've started to view this group like the 2000 to 2004 Eagles. Like, we have had so many memories with this group of players. You think about how much rosters change on the other teams. Like, the Phillies have kind of stayed the same. It's like the same 7 or 8, 9 guys that we've lived through all this with. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I know when I look back at the 2000 Eagles, like, I always think they deserved a Super Bowl. Like, I know they didn't get one. They won a lot of games, but, like, they deserved one, right? I think the Phillies deserve a World Series. Like, they have gone there. They have been to the NLCS. They've given us so many good memories. Like, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I'm starting to view them a little bit like those early 2000 Eagles.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comparison. Also, Eliot, with that one, similarly, I felt like you go back and think about it, the earlier runs were almost more fun, I think, for the fan base because it was kind of unexpected, right? Like when a Hughes team got to play the Rams in the title game. But then as it went on, it almost became more nail-biting because you're like, well, are they going to get it done? They got to get it done. There's not much time left. It is pretty similar. Eliot, we appreciate you hopping on with us. Have a good day, and I'm sure it'll be interesting around the NovaCare later as AJ potentially might speak. Thank you, Eliot.
Yep, talk to you guys later.
Have a good
There he
one,
goes. Eliot Shorr-Parks with us there.